This episode of the Wayang Crew podcast is brought to you by Times Cineplex. Hey, welcome back everyone to yet another episode of the Wayang Crew podcast. It's me, Kev, as usual, on this podcast where we talk to you about all things movies, especially movies that are playing here in Brunei, Darussalam. This week, we're giving you a review of Dark Phoenix, which is the latest entry and the final entry, I think, or the second last entry in the 20th Century Fox X-Men universe. They're now owned by Disney. So, yeah, we'll give you a review on that later on. First up, it's my co-host, it's Del.
Hello, Kev.
What's up?
It's been raining. It's been a rainy weekend, and I love it.
Yes, the sun did not come out today. Like, it came out very briefly
in the morning. Yes,
yes, and then it was just raining the whole day.
And it went back down again at noon.
Okay. Up next, it's the co-host of the podcast. It's TB.
Hey.
Yo.
Hi.
All right, that was a bit weird, but what's up?
It's been a festive weekend.
Yes, Selamat Hari Raya to you.
Thank you.
And
Eid
to all
Mubarak.
and to all our listeners out there, Selamat Hari Raya to you.
What is
from
the
us.
meaning of Eid Mubarak?
It's the Arabic word for happy Eid.
Happy Eid. What is Eid?
It's like celebratory. I don't really know. What's Christmas? What's Chinese New Year?
I'm sure if I ask you Christmas, you can explain.
Yeah, I mean, I can explain, but it's just way too long.
All right.
A story.
We have
We'll
a
do it
podcast.
offline.
Yeah, we have a podcast to do.
Alright. Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Let's get to the news this week. We got a bunch of trailers this past week. First up, we have this trailer from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It's the first proper trailer we got. We got a trailer a couple of months ago, and it was just, a clips of what we can expect. This is a proper trailer. It kind of shows where this movie is heading to. It is what it is. It's like a bunch of stories and characters that are scary to tell in the dark, I guess.
Not interested.
I saw it and I didn't think much of it because it didn't look scary. The monsters, quote unquote, didn't look scary also. So it doesn't look that interesting.
It looks like it was kind of made for teens.
Yeah.
It does. It feels like it.
Yeah.
Even the shots, they're not like the typical horror shots.
I guess we're old.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I guess teens will be attracted more to
Maybe.
this. Like
we are old people.
Because they probably read the books and, we have.
And also probably teen actors and actresses.
Yeah, there were a couple, but, mostly adults, young adults. We also got a trailer for this, Shaft. We got a trailer. This was an okay trailer, I guess. It was kind of funny. You see 3 generations of Shaft in this. The original Shaft actor from the 70s, and then the Samuel L. Jackson character who he had a movie in, I think, the early 2000s. And we also have the new Shaft, I guess the latest generation of the Shaft family.
What is Shaft?
Shaft?
He's a guy. He's like...
He's John Wick. But
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, Samuel L. Jackson's John Wick.
And with an element of like cool and swag.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw this, but I don't remember what the title was. So
you don't.
Oh, okay.
It
was just like one of those videos playing on Facebook.
The title is Shaft. That's the soundtrack.
Since the
Shaft.
the title itself doesn't really make sense, so I was like maybe skipping.
Shaft is their name.
That's the last name.
It's their last name, their family name, Shaft.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also means something else.
All right.
I'm sure that's what it meant when they came out with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope so.
This bunch of
We're
posters.
talking about the guns, right?
Yeah, the guns. They shoot as well.
Yeah.
We also got a bunch of posters for Child's Play, which is the latest iteration of the Chucky franchise. It's getting a reboot, and Mark Hamill, as we know, is voicing Chucky. But the posters show like something very morbid if you're a kid. It is being launched, I think, on June 18th or 21st. I don't know who's coming out first, either Toy Story 4 or Child's Play. But Child's Play has put out a couple of posters, and it seems that Chucky has, how do I say this nicely, disposed of certain characters from the Toy Story universe, including Woody and Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
We know who's going to have the last laugh.
Yeah, I'm going to tell everyone Toy Story is going to win.
They're not going up against each other per se, but in terms of being in the same week and the same weekend, I guess.
That's kind of like challenging the other movie that's releasing that month.
Yeah.
That's like what's the Muppet movie again?
The
All-
R-rated one.
The all sesame, all street no sesame tagline.
I
or
guess
like,
so.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, all street no sesame.
This is just poking.
Yeah.
This is poking,
Yeah,
essentially.
exactly. So
I still don't know if I am on board with this Chucky thing. I'll probably check it out, but I don't know. Do we still have space for a Chucky movie in
I've
today's?
never liked Chucky. I never saw the newer ones.
because apparently this is an AI. It's no longer
What?
a ghost. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
It's an AI, and in the original Chucky franchise, it's a serial killer who
Spirit
uses voodoo to
yeah.
put his spirit into a doll. But in this one,
Right.
I'm not sure what this is. It could be like a hacker, like a Russian hacker.
I somehow am a little bit interested now.
I don't know. For me, the only pull is what's the name of the voice actor again?
Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill.
Mark
yes.
Hamill. Oh yeah, that's
Mark
right.
Hamill.
Yes, because he plays Joker and he has actual
Yeah.
voice acting talents. Here's something that I also don't know if I want to check out. It's Jurassic World 3. Now we know this is coming because it's gonna be a threequel for sure. Bryce Dallas Howard was at an event and she was asked by MTV if any of the original Jurassic Park cast would be returning for this movie. And she gave an answer, but not really gave an answer. They asked, since Jeff Goldblum appeared in
Yeah.
the last movie, can we expect to see any other legacy actors from the original Jurassic Park movie? And she says, well, I can't really say, but maybe if I'm blinking, then maybe it's a yes. And she started blinking like a lot. So we believe now
That's someone else.
that Sam Neill and Laura Dern and maybe one or two other characters will be coming back to Jurassic World 3.
the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs from the original trilogy.
The same one.
The same one will appear.
Sure.
Would you still watch Jurassic World 3?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you have to, kind of, at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Chris Pratt.
Yes.
No,
but
it's if Sam Neill comes back, I'll be very interested.
Yes, Sam Neill is a really good actor.
Sam Neill is the father of the dinosaurs.
Well,
Not really,
no,
but
no.
That just sounds wrong.
wrong.
Right.
Let's move on.
Let's move on to something else. Godzilla, King of the Monsters, is something we talked about last week here on the podcast. And we had two, I guess, contrasts. We had Kai, who really, really loved it.
Really?
And,
Okay.
and you have me, who's like, I don't know, man. This is like a 5 for me. This is a background movie while I'm doing work kind of thing. And the box office has not lied. This is a disappointing movie overall, especially at the box office, because it looks like this movie is only going to barely make back what they spent on with regards to the production, which is not a good sign for the Monsterverse.
I mean, this is to prepare everyone for Godzilla vs. Kong. So it's gonna be
Which is coming out next year.
Yeah. So
Uh,
this is like the boring part after for the really good part at the end. Yeah, I hope so.
They have somehow botched this money-making thing, right? Because it's monsters, it's titans, and it's like riding on the wave of what's that kaiju movie?
Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They should introduce them.
Yeah, more
do a
better
Might
than
as well.
Yeah, like do a crossover.
Yeah.
yeah, better than King Kong.
Better than King Kong.
I think Godzilla vs. King Kong, the surprise element would be the kaijus.
No, the humans.
the Jaegers, the Jaegers.
humans jump in, and then
Yeah.
we've got Jaegers now.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool.
Who cares about Mecha Ghidorah?
Yeah.
Maybe Mecha Ghidorah is the Jaeger.
Mind blown.
What?
Mind blown. We shall see. Here's something that would really blow my
I would walk out of the cinema. This is nonsensical stuff from Pacific Rim again.
Dun, 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 dun.
Very good. Here's something that I really hope does not happen. We all saw Avengers Endgame, of course, and it's a couple of months out now, and it's safe to say that if you haven't watched it, what are you doing with your life? Tony Stark is dead now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He sacrificed himself at the end of Avengers Endgame, and this has left some fans not happy. They're like, no, you have to keep Tony Stark in there, bring him back. So much so that a petition has been started.
I knew it.
A petition has been started, and and this is what the petition is called: Bring Tony Stark Back to Life. It has 55,567 signatures.
No, it will ruin his arc.
The arc is done.
Yeah. he had a very good ending. Let
Look,
him be.
I'm very happy that Hollywood listened to the fans of Sonic the Hedgehog and said, you know what, we are right. He looks weird. We're going to change certain things about him and take it back to the drawing board. But don't change this. This is something that it's done and dusted, and let's just keep it as it is.
You know what? Give it like 5 years, and they may bring him back one way or another.
As a hologram.
As
Maybe
a
a hologram, maybe
as the
something like a
AI,
flashback.
from
Yeah.
the suit voice. What that's called.
Oh, Friday.
Yeah, replacing Friday.
Well, it's, you see, now time travel exists now, so
Yeah.
Okay, fine. If they went to the past and then there's past Iron Man, maybe it makes sense. But just don't bring him back to
To the
life.
present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agree.
yeah, like
agree.
keep those stories separate from the main timeline, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Avengers, Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, of course, he has, of course, we all know this. He's signed up for the Uncharted movie. We know that.
Uncharted.
Yes. He's gonna be a Nathan Drake, like a younger Nathan
I
Drake.
did not know this.
Oh,
Okay,
it's been a
fine.
couple of years.
This news is 2 years old, right? Tom Holland joined the Uncharted movie, and he will play the Trajanta Nathan Drake, a younger version, of course. Sony, what?
I'm quite sure we talked about this.
We did. We actually did.
Yeah, we did.
But
2 years ago.
But he might not have been here.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm mind blown. Like literally mind blown.
It now has a release date. Sony Pictures has given a release date of December 18th, 2020. So we have about a year and a half.
No news of a older Nathan Drake.
No news of an older
okay.
Nathan Drake. But
That sucks.
we have Tom Holland, who is now going to play Nathan
He
Drake.
will become the old Nathan Drake in a few years.
I mean, he has
Yes.
to bulk up though, because he's like, kind of skinny
Well,
for a Nathan Drake.
Guess so.
I'm sure he can do it.
Yeah.
He probably...
He shouldn't. I don't think he can because of
Is this why he's hanging out?
Spider-Man.
Is this why he's hanging out with Chris Pratt? All the time?
Why? He needs to eat first? Or what?
Is he
'Cause
hanging
Chris
out
Pratt's-
with Chris Pratt?
Yeah, it's like it's Instagram and whatnot. It's like a lot with Chris Pratt.
Oh, okay. You stalk
mean-
him on Instagram?
People share. I was like, oh, okay, they're hanging together. I mean, Chris Pratt's body is like Nathan Drake's body, so
Okay.
like
Maybe they are making a slimmer Nathan Drake.
Yeah. I mean, he is supposed to play a younger Nathan Drake, so...
Yeah, because bear in
Yeah,
mind,
okay.
Tom Holland is not going to grow taller. Nathan Drake seems tall.
Like a 6-footer.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's Uncharted, which is coming out next year, so TV now has something to look forward to.
Because I love Uncharted. The Uncharted. I played all the Uncharted games.
Oh, okay.
All right. We do know that toys from the 80s, from our childhoods, Del and Tibi and myself, have been making their way into Hollywood for many number of years now. We've got the Transformers, we've got a potential G.I. Joe movie, which will cross over with a Transformers movie. That's all trying to pander to our childhoods. Here's something that is way out there. Mattel and apparently Blumhouse are working on a movie.
No idea what metal is.
Mattel is the company that owns Hot Wheels.
Oh,
and-
okay.
Yeah. They are going to come up with a movie, a live-action 8-ball movie.
Why?
I'm like the only one. What is an 8-ball?
The Magic 8-ball.
God.
The one that you shake
You
and you go like,
shake the
you
black
ask the
colour one.
question.
A movie about that.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Okay. Blumhouse is the studio that brought us that movie Truth or Dare last year.
Oh, so it's gonna be a horror movie.
It's gonna be a horror movie, and it's gonna center around the 8-ball.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So it's like a cursed.
Now it makes sense.
Yes. Maybe you should have led with that.
I'm just thinking like, what superhero with like 8-ball?
Just this kid walking around making decision using the 8-ball.
Yeah. Okay.
Should I go
Okay.
to the toilet now that my stomach is aching?
The future
Let's see.
is the future is dark.
Oh look, there's a robbery. Should I call the police? Maybe. Let's see what happens. Like I always say, show me a trailer. If it is intriguing enough, maybe I'll watch it. Here's another horror movie that is in the works. It's called Svalta, and it's going to bring together Simon Pegg and Nick Frost again. This movie is written by Nick Frost, and it's about a serial killer who is on the loose in a Swedish town called, as the title says, Svalta.
It's gonna be a comedy again, isn't it?
I don't know.
It should be.
It's horror comedy.
Yeah, like a horror comedy.
Like their other movie, like the one with the zombie.
Yeah.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the
Yes.
Dead and At World's End, which is an alien invasion movie.
They're okay.
But then those were written by what's his name?
The guy who's supposed to direct Ant-Man.
Yes.
And
Edgar
Wright.
Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
But this one is written by
Nick Frost.
who
I'm sure-
recently.
Never mind. Continue.
I don't know what he's written recently.
Yeah, I'm sure he got something out of the previous movies too.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I guess so.
he's been busy.
But-
He's been on TV shows.
he was in that movie Fighting With My Family. I think he did really well in that.
Yeah.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, you should. It's
Oh,
actually a very uplifting, good movie. Ghostbusters, which is a movie that is having a sequel coming out, directed by the son of the original director, Jason Reitman. We got a teaser earlier this year, and it's just like a barn, and it's windy.
Need to see more.
Huh? Sorry?
We had a teaser.
Yeah, we had like a very short teaser.
We didn't see anything.
We didn't see anything. We just saw Actor 1.
And a shadow.
And
Oh.
and the starting up
sound.
of the proton pack. Yeah, that was
okay.
it.
That was limited.
Now, it's well known that the original cast, meaning Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd, they have said, yes, we are coming back for this sequel. It's a sequel to Ghostbusters 2. Sigourney Weaver has also announced that she is coming back for this sequel.
Right.
Good.
Sure.
I mean, how much screen time they have, it's not. We don't know.
Is she gonna be possessed again?
I don't know. She was not possessed in the second movie. It was it was that ghost in the picture trying to get her baby.
Ah.
Yeah.
So she's gonna bring her baby back?
I don't know.
Baby comes back? Fun fact, I used to call...
What baby? The baby will be 30 years old now, Del.
Yeah, so he's gonna come back.
But it's gonna
Is
be
it
like
she or he? Can't remember.
It's a he.
It's
Okay.
gonna be one of those kids movies, right? Because they're getting
Yes.
kids.
This
kid actors.
this
What?
this Ghostbusters sequel is going to center around a new team. So they there was a casting call which we discussed,
No.
and it's they're looking for 2 guys and 2 girls.
like Stranger Things.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
I would rather see old people fighting ghosts.
Oh my god, my back! Hold it.
I can't reach the proton
they should
pack.
have I think Del's onto something, because if you have old people fighting ghosts and they lose and die, they can come back as ghosts.
Let me reach it. My cane. I'm gonna get my cane first.
That is dark. That is so dark.
It's like holding the proton and then his cane.
No, they need 2 guys now to shoot a proton pack.
Yeah, one like how firemen.
This one holding it the back.
Oh dear me.
I'm sure technology has progressed.
Sure, if Men in Black can have like a little tiny noisy cricket
Yeah.
gun, then they've progressed. I'm sure. Here's a bunch of old men: John Cena and Vin Diesel. John Cena has officially announced, and it is out there now officially, that he has joined the Fast and Furious 9 cast. We got like a tease unofficial thing from Vin Diesel a couple of weeks ago by an Instagram post where he's like, oh yeah, we're here, we're gonna start production soon, and also John Cena. But now it's official, so okay.
Yeah, because everything Vin Diesel say is is unofficial.
it might not come to fruition.
Yeah.
So
Do you think
Yeah.
Vin Diesel will ever act anything else apart from Fast and Furious?
Yes, Riddick.
Yeah,
Is
Chronicles
it
of
a
Riddick.
new one
yeah.
coming out?
No,
right.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
exactly. So,
Maybe that's the next one.
Saving Private Ryan 2. He is brought back to life.
There's another one. Not Riddick, the other one. Triple X.
Yes, Triple X.
He's got a few lah. He's got a few
well,
franchises.
he's
Yeah.
good, but like as himself.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
Wait, wasn't there like a new Triple X last year?
No, there was a new Triple X.
No,
Ice Cube.
Yeah, it was
Triple X.
Ice Cube
Vin
was
Diesel and then Ice Cube, the second Triple
Second
X,
movie, yeah.
and then
third one he came back.
he came back for the third one.
Which was not bad.
But then Ice Cube came back at the end of that as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
Quadruple
that's
So it's not quadruple. It's
Triple X square.
X to the power of 6.
6X.
6X. But John Cena, back to him. He's proven himself time and time again. He has had some success, I guess, But surprisingly, he's actually a comedy actor now. Like, you see him, and he's made like very memorable roles in movies such as Cockblockers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was in Cockblockers.
Even in Transformers, he's like more of a comedic effect.
Yeah, he's got very good comedic timing, and I wonder what he can bring to the Fast and Furious franchise.
More comedy.
More comedy.
Even his wrestling, it's more of a joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ouch.
sound
You
right.
are savage.
He's a white rapper.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Really?
No, but there are some videos online where some people challenge him. And then he goes like, you know what, I'm gonna
think it's made
I'm
up.
gonna give you a rap beatdown right now. And he actually does rap.
Yeah, how much was more set up than it was actual?
I don't know, I don't watch wrestling, but anyway.
Because it was on the way into the wrestling.
That's right, yeah,
stadium,
exactly.
So it was like he might have paid someone.
As long as you saw it, that means it's been filmed. That means someone readied a camera.
Yes.
Which means it's been set up.
Oh, all right.
I
guess.
saw that. But it's okay. I respect him. He's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the news this week on the Wayang Crew podcast. Let us know what you think of the news or anything movies in general at our contact links down below, which brings us to our review this week of Dark Phoenix, which is the second last movie in the X-Men franchise from Fox. We are having New Mutants coming out next year.
Yay.
Hopefully,
Oh, second last.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
I don't know. I hope this is the last. But they're still looking for the.
This movie
yes.
is not doing very well at all.
Yeah.
It has the lowest ever X-Men franchise score on Rotten Tomatoes, which I just checked. It's improved a little bit. It was at 21, now it's 23%. But it's still low.
Slow and steady. It'll get there. It will get to 30%.
You think so? Okay. Good luck.
Slow and steady. All right. Let's talk box office a little bit. Now, it is still the weekend in the US and it only came out this weekend. But as of time of recording, it's only made $14 million at the domestic US box office.
Hang on. 14 million was Friday's number.
Yes, Friday's number. So we haven't had the numbers from
Saturday,
Saturday. We're going to get numbers tomorrow.
Look out, Endgame. X-Men is coming.
But this opening is
Slow and steady.
is well below the projections that they were hoping for.
Which was? Did they have a projection? 50 ka?
Yeah, they were saying that it could probably do like 32
32, which is doable, eh?
as in opening weekend.
Yeah, it's already 14. It's halfway there. No. Hear me out. Thursday is only night. Friday was the whole day. And they've gone 14 million. You have
Okay.
2 whole weekends to go.
Did you watch the movie?
I did.
Okay, we could argue about the movie.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying this is good numbers. Okay? I'm not saying 30 is good. 30 is bad. Considering they spent, 150 million?
Yeah, about there.
Yeah, they're not going to make this back.
They're not going to
Look
make it back.
like
Hang on. Do we know the worldwide?
No,
Numbers? Not yet.
okay. Apparently, it's made $25.7 million. Oh no, sorry, that's another movie. I don't have the.
Yeah, you don't have.
Yeah.
Okay. Because if worldwide comes, because they have been pushing a lot more in
China.
in Mexico, in a lot of the European countries as well. So that could help them to recuperate the cost.
Yeah, but reviews have not been kind, and we're gonna add one more review to this. I guess dumpster fire movie.
No, it's not.
Everyone looked like they gave up in the
No,
movie.
they didn't.
The actors looked like they were giving up.
No, I would argue against it.
All right. I'm going to give a quick summary of this movie. This movie picks up on the events from the last movie, which is X-Men Apocalypse. We have the same cast. We have Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, Ty Sheridan as Cyclops, the new generation, I guess, of actors. And also, the Storm is the new Storm that we got from X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence still plays Mystique. Raven. James McAvoy reprises his role once again as Professor Xavier. And Nicholas Hoult, of course, plays Dr. Hank McCoy, Beast. And we don't get a Wolverine in this movie. Obviously because
Mr. Jackman has retired.
Mr. Jackman is no longer suiting up with claws.
Not because he didn't want to do this movie.
But as the title of this movie suggests, it's called Dark Phoenix, and it is, I guess, a second attempt of telling a Dark Phoenix story. Because we got the first one in X3, The Last
Which was
Stand.
better.
No! Oh my god, no.
I love that
Oh
one.
my god, no.
All right, let's go around this small panel that we have today. Let's start with Del. Del, what did you think of Dark Phoenix?
Okay, so TB just now says they gave up, but the people who actually gave up, I believe, was 20th Century Fox because they know they were getting bought over, and back then was either Comcast or Disney.
Yeah.
And what I am gonna assume is Simon Kinberg, the person who also wrote The Last Stand. He's been with X-Men for the last almost 2 decades.
Yeah, like 19 years.
Yeah. So he's been the godfather. He's like the almost like the Kevin Feige of X-Men.
But the thing is, Kevin Feige was also involved in the early X-Men movies.
X1 and X2, I think. So I have to believe that it's Simon Kinberg who went to Fox and said, look, you have nothing to lose now. Why don't you let me try and direct, because I will never ever get the chance again.
Like, no one knows these characters like me.
That too, but more like Sony, Disney is gonna take over. So I will never be able to direct when Disney takes over. And I have been with this property since 19 years ago.
Please, sir, can I direct your movie?
I'm sure he's not British. You shouldn't give a director with no experience to direct such a big budget Hollywood movie. But here you go. And the result was not as bad as what first time director would do, I would say.
It's not great.
It's not great. It's not great.
Yeah.
I will say it's not great. But then what he did, the one thing which, okay, I after watching this movie, I went back and I thought that wasn't bad, and I felt like watching Apocalypse again. So I watched Apocalypse again, and then I realized how bad Apocalypse was. And then I realized that there's a continuity issue between Apocalypse and this one. Because at the end of Apocalypse, it was set up that Jean Grey had some
the Phoenix
the Phoenix
powers.
Force,
Phoenix
is
Force
inside
is
her,
already
right?
inside her. Yeah. That's what she was trying to suppress when she was having nightmares, and like the room was like getting hot and things like that.
She has the potential.
Yeah.
She has great potential.
Yeah.
Which was never really, we never really saw it until then this movie came. So I think Simon Kinberg wanted to, maybe he would try to follow up with Apocalypse storyline, but then decided that he couldn't maybe write something good. So he introduced I don't know what race that is, this alien race.
Like a Kree race.
Exactly. Like, we didn't know who they are.
They I don't think they even mentioned what race
they never
were.
did. Yeah.
But except Jessica Chastain's character is called Vuk, and then you can trace back which race was Vuk.
Look, man, like I'm gonna watch a movie. You tell me everything. And
exactly.
Don't give me homework.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So one of the downside of this movie is that the whole Jessica Chastain's race was never really explored. Their motivation wasn't very clear, except for the fact that someone mentioned their planet was destroyed, and then by this force, so they've tracked this force now, wanting to harness the force. So that's what they did. It's just that we don't know their capabilities because they kind of shape-shifting as well. They can do a lot of things, but nothing was really certain.
And like they're really strong,
and they look like reptiles.
And bullets don't affect them.
Yep, and there were so many of them.
Regeneration.
Or they cannot be killed or something. So all these uncertainties didn't make the movie satisfactory. But other than that, I thought when there were action, the action was done well. The first act of the movie was done very well, introducing Jean Grey's past, introducing the space, how Phoenix went into her. So it's really like also following the comic books. The second act was where I think many people had problems with it because of some decisions that the characters made. But I found it, I could argue for it. And then at the end, I thought it ended as well as it could be, with the action sequence with the train was quite good. It's just, it kind of plateaued from there on, and it didn't go up to a final climactic battle. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. I'm inclined to agree with you where the first act was actually okay. Like I was in this movie like, okay, yes, this is telling a story now. Like I could get on board with this. Like show me more of what you're trying to reveal, which was, oh no, it's Professor X. I mean, spoilers if you haven't watched the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, like, Professor Xavier suppressed certain things about her and changed her, inside her mind to wall up certain things
Yep.
to protect her, which is a turning point for her in this movie where she finds out that she was given away by her father, which she hoped was not the father's request, but she was already under the assumption that Professor Xavier just took her and lied to her about the parents dying.
Yep.
But then she finds out that actually it's the father that said, please take her, I can't look after her. And Xavier was the one that accepted her, which kind of comes back at the end where she's trying to make that final decision whether or not she embraces the Phoenix Force or tries to relinquish that power because she's, quote unquote, has family now. Timmy, what do you think of the movie?
I mean, I can't say much. The part which I don't like is that it feels like this movie makes people who watch it question, why did he do that? For example, when Magneto raised a whole train car from the ground,
Yeah.
there's like tons of cars on ground level already. Why can't he just use that? Why must he just pull a
Oh, right.
From the underground. Yeah.
underground?
Right.
Yeah.
For dramatic effect.
That's called flexing. Like a superhero pose.
Yeah, I don't know. But
It's like that was his "don't mess with me" moment. Like,
That was also from Apocalypse, where Apocalypse taught him how to harness his power and dig deeper. So he dug.
are you sure? Are you sure it was Apocalypse?
Yeah, it was Apocalypse.
Apocalypse enhanced his power.
Taught him also how to dig
But
deeper.
but Professor Xavier was the first one in X-Men First Class who taught him how to use emotions to turn.
Yeah, that was such a good.
Yeah,
it was such a good movie.
So something I have to say though is the acting of Sophie Turner and Michael Fassbender in that one scene in that mutant retreat that he has.
The retreat, yeah.
It's a retreat essentially. Their powers are at odds now because Sophie Turner wants to destroy or push away. I can't remember what she was trying to do, but she was trying to destroy the helicopter that the soldiers came in. And
trying to kill them.
And Michael Fassbender was fighting her.
Yep,
and
trying to save.
I think that was the best acting in the movie because they.
Are you sure?
Yes, because they were both like power.
I don't see the chemistry at all. It's like they look awkward, like in front of each other.
Well, if you think about it, they're doing all that without anything in front of them. So, in terms of acting,
Give them Oscars now.
give them Oscars.
Like even in the room when she was talking to him, I was like,
No, but they don't have chemistry, you see, because they never really gelled together.
That's true. And the only time that they've ever gelled was not gelled, but they've only had their paths cross was in Apocalypse.
The last fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they went back to the X-Mansion.
Yeah.
And then he left straight away.
I don't know, Sophie Turner. I like her in Game of Thrones, but I don't like her as Jean Grey.
Oh, okay. I thought she did okay.
Major spoiler here. Raven, played by Jennifer Lawrence, dies very early on in the movie at the end of the first act. It's a death that I kind of saw coming.
It's in the trailers.
Yeah.
Really?
It is.
But we don't really see her die.
No, we don't see her die. That scene of her death, but then we saw Jean Grey pushed her, and then the next scene was a funeral. And then she was never in the trailer ever again.
Okay.
I don't remember
weird,
that.
though.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence looked weird as Mystique in this.
The thing is...
You should see Apocalypse. She used like blue paint instead of blue makeup.
Here's something I kind of noticed while watching the movie. It seems like some of the actors, Jennifer Lawrence in particular, was kind of just like, you know what?
I want to get it over and done.
Yeah, I can't be
Yeah.
bothered.
I can't believe that's true because you see them with Simon Kinberg and all these interviews and all that. They all have fun together. It's not like the Fan-Four-tastic where when they are talking, you can tell they are not in it at all. This one, they are still very.
Maybe it's just the makeup and the weird hair.
What are we talking about?
Mystique, Raven.
Well, that is her true form, so...
I mean, I didn't have that problem in the previous...
No, First Class and Days of Future Past was very good. So she still work, quote unquote work.
Yeah.
When it comes to Apocalypse, she's already flexing her star power, so she didn't want to spend 4 hours every morning in the
makeup chair. Yeah.
So that's why they gave her like blue paint just to paint over her with an orange wig, which was horrible. when you can see that clearly at the end of Apocalypse. But this one, I think she made the effort again, and I'll have
don't
to
know.
watch it again. But
Okay.
it doesn't matter. Okay, it's
Like
the
Beast
makeup.
was like, yeah, Beast. I like how he looked like, but Mystic was just like they didn't spend much time on this one. I don't know.
Okay, many problems seemingly in this movie.
Script is also a bad problem.
Let's hear some examples.
I don't remember, but I remember cringing. There was one part in the train. There was like, even the part was like, do it for Raven, do it for Mystic.
Yeah,
Yeah, do it for Raven.
Do it for Raven.
Yeah.
Like,
There's this. Okay, they also pushed Xavier's character where they are making him like too relaxed, too complacent, and perhaps egoistic as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good turn for his character. And Magneto also, I think it's between him and Magneto, they both have the best story arc.
Yeah,
from
they still
beginning
have that
until-
chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah. Those two are always the best to watch.
yeah, but they still can't save this movie.
Yeah, they can just barely.
Yeah, okay,
they
maybe.
made it.
Yeah,
they made
just-
it watchable.
They carried it.
Yeah.
All right. So, what did you think of this movie? Del, give us your rating.
After realizing that Simon Kinberg dumped all the Apocalypse stuff that he himself wrote with Bryan Singer, didn't continue that Phoenix, which he put in at the end of Apocalypse. So
Yeah.
I have to pull it down a bit and give it, let's say, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10.
That's a
Okay.
huge score.
Chibi, your rating for Dark
I-
Phoenix.
I barely enjoyed watching this movie.
You had your phone out the
Yeah.
whole time. Yeah.
No,
How?
not all. Like some parts,
How
like
dare you?
not all the time.
Yeah. Like the dialogue scenes, that's it. Phone comes out.
no, I'm not enjoying this scene. So I was like
Okay.
checking, but I had work to check
Is
up on.
that why you didn't enjoy it?
No, it's not about that. No, I was just making sure no one from
Okay.
work was texting me, which no one was. But I don't know. I watch it at home or when it comes on HBO or something.
That's not a bad idea.
5 missing Wolverines.
5 missing Wolverines out of 10. And just for context, Kai, who's also like a big X-Men fan and all things comic book, he texted me earlier and said that he is giving this movie a 6 out of 10. Which is lower than yours and slightly higher than yours. I'm gonna give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. This movie to me was going somewhere very promising. I saw myself liking this movie in the beginning, like the first 20 minutes, first half an
I
hour or
remember
so.
him saying it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I actually told you.
Yeah.
And I actually said to you, like, I don't know what the online reviewers watched, but this looks okay.
Yep.
And then 20 minutes
That's
later, 20 minutes later, I was like, oh, I see what they did here.
The best part for me from the movie is when they save the astronauts.
Yeah,
that was about it.
But I like the first time X-Men and Jean Grey fought. That was nice also.
X-Men and yeah. I mean, outside Jean's
Outside
father's
Jean's-
house.
yeah.
Here's something that I was asking Tibi after we watched the movie. What happened to Quicksilver? He injured himself. We saw him get taken off the X1.
Scabs on his face.
And he
whatnot.
had injuries on his face, and that was it. And he's just gone for the whole movie.
Same. Okay, this is not just X-Men. In Avengers as well, they had to kill him off. They have no idea how to use Quicksilver because he's too fast, too powerful.
Yeah, but X-Men the last 2 movies have used him really well.
No, only in Days of Future Past, he was only in the past. And then for the rest of the movie, he wasn't there. For Apocalypse, he came midway to save the kids from the X-Mansion, which blew up.
Yep.
And then at the end, Apocalypse also kind of injured his ankle, so that he couldn't run.
So literally his Achilles heel.
Yes.
But we knew what happened to him in the movie.
Yeah.
For this one, it's just
Oh, he got injured and he's out of the... Yeah, that's it.
Way to be a hero, man.
he just rolled over on a roof. That's all we saw.
They can't, they really can't, they don't know how to use him.
Yeah.
They cannot.
I think it's also because they made it a big point in the last 2 movies that, we spent like a week filming this sequence, the Quicksilver sequence, and it took a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of budget. Maybe because this was Simon Kinberg's first directorial debut of a big Hollywood movie, he just didn't have maybe the...
He doesn't have the budget to do it.
Either
because-
that or doesn't have like the green light to do it because we don't know if you can handle this sequence.
But then I believe they have other kind of action sequence directors to do it.
They should have.
Yeah.
Oh well, I think that was a wasted opportunity because they could have done so much more with Quicksilver, especially in that train sequence.
Oh yeah, this is the last X-Men movie that we're gonna see for a little while.
Yeah, I'm looking forward if Disney's gonna.
I have to say they should have just ended the whole X saga with Days of Future Past. That ending was perfect.
Correct.
That's right.
Sophie Turner had to be famous, and they got her.
Yeah, so it's her fault. It's Game of Thrones' fault.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our review of Dark Phoenix, which is still showing here in local cinemas. If you're an X-Men fan and you have any small inkling about the Marvel X-Men comic book universe, you check it out, I guess. But as Timmy said, I agree with him. Check this out when it's out on HBO. It's really not like worth your time and money to go out of your way and see it on the big screen.
I don't think it'll be on HBO. You know.
No.
Any platform.
Any platform.
Disney owns this one.
Then Disney Plus.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Maybe. But there was some news that some of the MCU movies would eventually make its way back to Netflix.
Oh, okay.
But they're still crossing the T's and dotting the I's on that one. Anyway, back to our show. And the next segment of the show is...
Oi, apa liat-liat? Apa liat-liat? Hoi, 看什么看? Apa liat-liat?
Apa liat-liat?
你看什么看？
Apa liat-liat? See what see? 笑了.
That's right, it's Liat Liat, and it's what else we've been watching besides Dark Phoenix, which, I guess we need to. It took like a palate cleanser.
Rubbish.
Del, Liat Liat.
I came back from Bangkok, so I had some time to catch a few movies on the plane. One stood out was Stan and Ollie. About this Stan. Oh gosh, I totally forgot. See, I don't know these actors from the past, like way before my time. But then the two gave such a wonderful performance. The duo were like a comedic actors, and they went touring on stage as well. And the little parts that they showed us, those were hilarious. I was laughing on the plane. I didn't dare to laugh out loud. But then I truly enjoyed this. And by the end of it, it's so heartwarming and also tear-jerking. To see the two friends have this kind of relationship. And I really love it. I don't know why it didn't do... They weren't any award buzz behind it. Yeah, but it was really good.
Okay, so you saw it on a plane, which means it's out. It has been out for a while now.
It's last year's end of last year.
Okay, TB.
I watched third season of Kim's Convenience.
Oh, you're still on that? Okay.
A new season was out past few weeks. I'm at like episode 5. So far, so good.
So far, so good?
Yeah. And apart from that, I eventually watched Arthdal Chronicles, the Korean series.
Oh,
on
I know.
Netflix.
Yeah.
So far...
It's like a Korean Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and then like I'm at there's only 2 episodes right now, so like I teared a bit in episode 2.
Oh,
you teared a bit.
Yeah, it was like a family like sense of belonging thing.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I watched.
Oh, okay.
have anyone watched Chernobyl?
I want to pick that up.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually really good. I watched a couple of episodes of Chernobyl. There's only 5 episodes because it is an HBO miniseries. I'm on episode 4. And it's essentially just the story of the world's biggest and most impactful nuclear accident that has ever happened. Even bigger than Hiroshima in terms of the fallout which was put out by this accident. And I mean, you have actors in here. I can't remember the names off the top of my head. There's one of the Skarsgårds in there. And everyone is on their A game. This is a very, very brilliantly acted miniseries. The sets and the shoot locations, obviously they're not in Chernobyl itself, but to see them portray it in that way, I think it's mostly by CG, but you can't tell because of the setting. It's in the 80s, and they depict it as very, I guess, Cold War-ish, and it's very gray. It kind of looks like Atomic Blonde, not a lot of color. So it's that sort of aesthetic. I have one more episode to go, which I will check out, but I do very highly recommend Chernobyl.
Is it like The Pacific, like one of those the old HBO series?
This is not a war. This is an accident that happened and the things that went wrong.
Oh, okay.
In terms of the chain of command and how the Soviet Union at the time did not want to seem weak, so they put out this propaganda. Well, oh no, it's not that bad, and people were dying left, right, and center to the point where it got kind of disgusting on screen because they actually actually showed some of the nuclear poisoning that was affecting these people. Because what happens when you get radiation poisoning is that your cells break down.
Yep.
And essentially, you just wither away. You start decomposing while you're still alive, and it got really gross.
So you don't become a mutant. That's pointing.
I also checked out John Wick, like the first John Wick today.
Okay.
It's a nice sort of refresh to go back and watch like the origins of.
More gun fu in that, right?
Yeah, there's more gun. You're right. There's more gun fu in that, and the stakes are not as high. He just has one target, and that's it. But yeah, I mean, do check out Chernobyl, which I think is a really good series. I also checked out on Netflix this series from David Letterman. It's called My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, where he brings in famous people without telling the audience members who's coming on the stage. It's a surprise for everyone. I mean, we as the audience watching at home, we know who it is because it's in the title. But he brings in people who have impacted society in general or have very inspiring stories, like Tiffany Haddish, Lewis Hamilton is in the second season, and people like Melinda Gates, who are big philanthropists. I mean, she's the wife of Bill Gates, the richest man in the world, and you see the impact that they have. Did you guys know that it's Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation that has essentially eradicated polio from the world?
I heard of this.
I mean, I did not know about
Yeah, like they have the numbers, and they said that they brought polio down. There are only about 30 recorded cases of polio in the world right now.
Good job.
Oh.
Good job. So yeah, very inspiring story. If you have Netflix, check it out.
Stop using Apple.
Sure. Anyway, that's the Wayang Crew.
Microsoft doesn't have
That's the
phone.
That's the Wayang Crew podcast this week. Sorry, it's a little bit short, but we have
Is it?
other things to do because it is a long holiday, and TB, of course, is also celebrating Hari Raya with family and friends. So we're not going to keep you for very long. Do check us out next week. What are we reviewing next week, guys?
No idea. Is there
I
any
have no
movie coming
idea.
out?
Yeah, it's
It's summer. We have a movie every week.
Well, just tune in. You'll know next week.
It's a surprise.
It's a
It
surprise.
needs no introduction.
Even for us. All right. I'd like to thank my co-hosts, Del and Tibby. This is Kevin signing off for the Wayang Crew. We'll see you next week. Bye.